everybody. Welcome to Project Foster Care. Sorry, there was a delay there. I'm looking at my producer, Rob. Hi, welcome to Project Foster Care and the Foster Care Warrior Program, which is this program right here. Super excited to have you here this evening, just like every Thursday night, sharing the real world of foster care, what it really looks like, the good, the bad, the ugly. And tonight I have a guest that I met several months ago. When I heard her story, I just, first, I just wanted to, keep her and make her my little daughter because she's amazing. But her story just blew my mind. And it truly is a testament to how you can go through tragedy and tragic times, but you can truly be an overcomer. And I'm just super excited to have her here right now. So I'm not even going to wait. I'm actually just going to bring her on. I was going to talk about some other things. I don't want to. I just want to bring Chantel House on. Chantel, welcome. Okay, what's happening? There she is.
Hi, my name is Chantel House. I'm a former foster youth. I entered the foster care system when I was 2 years old, and I aged out when I turned 21 about 5 months ago.
You came into the system when you were 2.
Yes.
And the farthest back you can remember is 5. Chantel, do you remember why you were removed?
Yes, I was removed originally from the care of my mother because when I was 2 years old, she left my sister and I with a stranger, and then the stranger left us outside on the grass. And then, of course, CPS was called, and then from that time, we went to the hospital. They found like ringworms and stuff. So eventually, from that day forward, we entered the foster care system, my sister and I.
And your mom at that point, was she given, like a plan to get you back?
Yeah, absolutely. Each
reunification plan.
Into the foster care system, you have about like 6 months to get your child back until, and after that time, you kind of use your guardianship over your child. But there were several attempts to get her kids back. But unfortunately, each time she failed to meet the requirements to get us back. And so from that, moving forward, I ended up in the foster care system.
And I know from, hi, Roger. How are you? Hi, Bruce. We've got our friends here. Everybody's saying hi, Chantel. So Chantel, going back to, as far back as you can remember being age 5, and of course, I'm sure, do you remember the visits and what that looked like? Do you remember the first home you were in? I mean, as that little girl, what did that look like to you? What memories do you hold?
To be honest, like the farthest back memories that I have was when I was 5 years old. I was with my sister. We were in the same foster home, and then they decided to adopt her and then not me. And so moving forward, I lost contact with my sister. And so that's like one of the most traumatic experience that I had to prompt me to remember my time in care. And so I remember like doing visits with my sister for like years following. And then once someone adopts somebody, they can decide whether or not they have contact with their siblings until they turn 18. And so I lost contact. And then moving forward, once I moved placement, like almost like 3 months, like clockwork. And so every time I kind of got comfortable, I was off to a new placement.
So Chantel, was it because you were behaving? And again, I choose my words lightly because to me, it's unfair to say a child is at fault. Their behavior it's their fault, because it's actually the circumstances and what you've been through, and you don't know how to express or show your feelings, or you don't even know what it is you're feeling, so you may be acting out. Was that something you were doing, or?
Yes, that definitely was a factor with me having to move various placements. Specifically,
what type of behavior, Chantel?
So I would like act out. I would do things to like seek attention, whether it been positive attention or negative attention. At times I was like defiant, and so I was like exhibiting like signs that most people don't want to deal with, and so I had to move.
And this is one thing that I talk about if you're going to become a foster parent. So any of you that are tuning in right now, hi Matt, hi Mark, Matt Dowdy, hi Mark Clark. If you're tuning in right now and you're contemplating being a foster parent, maybe you're a new foster parent, and even if you're an old foster parent, something really important for you to understand is these children have endured a lot of pain. One of the biggest hurts for a child in foster care, not only being ripped from your parents and the only home you knew, but then to be ripped from a sibling, it's going to cause the brain to react, and they're not of an age where they can understand what they're going through. They don't understand the feelings that they're having, so they're going to act out. So foster care isn't a place where you're going to get these really awesome kids that are going to come to you. They're awesome kids, but these perfectly well-behaved children that are going to come to you and somehow show you, you know, gratitude and be grateful to you for taking them in, because truly, why should they be grateful? Why should they be grateful for you taking them in? They didn't ask for this in the first place, and they've been denied something that should have come to them just by being born, which was a home and safety and love. So if you can't understand that and be prepared to sit in their darkness and walk it with them, you might not want to sign up to be a foster parent, right, Chantel?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think one of the things that really affected my time within the foster care system is like the fact that a lot of foster parents weren't willing to figure out what was going on. Why was I exhibiting this behavior? They were just quick to rush to judgment, and like that's not helpful for anybody. Like it can't be good on their conscience, and it definitely your childhood definitely affects you when you grow older. And a lot of it still scars me today, but like I'm trying my best to like cope with it and move forward. But I definitely think if someone's not in it for the long haul, definitely don't become a foster parent, because your actions definitely do affect you.
Well, yeah, and each time you were moved was another loss and another loss and another way for your brain to learn disconnect and distrust. And I want to ask you, because what I'm finding is this isn't something that is happening. Were you getting any kind of therapy at all, or were you being given pills?
A mixture of both. So there was a time when I was receiving a lot of therapy, but then as time went on, they often resort to over medicating foster youth to kind of like control them and to contain them, which that doesn't help. I don't believe, personally, in my opinion, I don't believe that you should give a child medication without giving like therapy. It's medication, you're not learning like the exact coping skills, and after a while they stop therapy. Or when you do go to therapy, because like your insurance is like Medi-Cal, you get like mediocre therapy or therapists who are not that invested and such like that. So definitely like the quality, like just like the insurance aspect of it definitely affected the quality.
I was talking to a doctor. I'm working, I have this amazing girl in my life that is also, went through very similar to what you've been through, Chantal. Hi, Chantal, you are, you are so, you see it? Okay. It says, hi, Chantal, you are so strong, stay brave. Matt was, he was also in foster care. Hi, Darla. How are you? Wow, she's so intelligent, honest too.
Thank you.
You're just getting love. So I was talking to a doctor I was asking her, you know, about these children being medicated in foster care at such young ages. And I said, is there any kind of proof that this is damaging their brain or doing anything? And she says they have found some, and I'm going to be getting this documentation. So I'm only expressing what I've been told at this point, and I am going to get documentation, but they do believe it remaps their brain. When they get these medications at such a young age, it really truly remaps their brain, and not in a good way. So this is something I'm desperately wanting to fight for justice in this. And Chantal, I'm sure you're right alongside with me. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't even like it was a choice for you. It was kind of like a hush money almost to me.
Yes, because like there were be consequences, like if you didn't take your meds, which obviously I didn't want to receive consequences, so I took my meds. But then it often affected my ability to really retain information, because a lot of the meds, in my opinion, the milligrams of the meds was too much for the age that I was at. So I would go to class groggy, I'll be asleep, and then I'll get in trouble for being sleepy. But then it wasn't my intention to be sleepy. I literally could not help feeling tired because of the medication they were forcing me to take.
So not only were you going through what you were going through, but even if you tried to be present, you really couldn't be.
Absolutely.
You were just kind of existing at that point. Mm-hmm. And then again, guys, a real mark that's being missed in this foster care world and with these children is not just the lack of therapy, but the quality of therapy. And like Chantal was saying, yeah, sure, there's going to be some therapy, but it's definitely not the kind that they need or long enough, or it's not individual. It's just basically enough to bare minimum, right, Chantal?
Yes. So kind of just fulfilling the requirements,
yep. That's the word I was looking for. The required amount, what's required. So I'm sorry for that. And that it really is something that I want the public to know. And one of the reasons I do this, you guys, you that are tuning in and watching, and I want you to know that it's super important that you understand the foster care system and what it really is, and that you understand that you're paying for it. So your money goes toward paying for these children to get on these medications, and it goes towards all these things that are going on. You're paying for it. Your tax dollars are paying for it. And we all need to understand that we have a choice and we have a voice. And if this is our money, then we want to make sure it's being spent well and the way we would want it to be spent. So we all have to use our voice to fight for these kids and fight for these changes. And I just really felt like I needed to say that. So Chantal, so here you are, you know, a young girl trying to go through school. You're getting moved bump to houses. Were you ever abused in any of the foster homes?
Yeah, a few times I was, and that obviously called for immediate like dismissal from the foster care system, not from the foster care placement. So during those times, when cases like this do arise, they send you to like emergency foster parents. There's foster parents on standby.
Respite. They're called respite.
Yeah,
respite
when a situation like this arises. So a few times I had to go there, and then within like a few days, I was sent to a different foster home.
Yeah, and I didn't mean respite. I meant their emergency placement homes. So. But respites for babysitting, but yeah, emergency placement. And then you would only stay with them for a maximum of 60 days. Usually that's here for our county. What county were you in, Chantal?
I was in Alameda County.
Okay. So different counties, that's the other thing that's super frustrating, Chantal. Do you know that even though there's like regulations and rules that they're, you know, subject to interpretation, and then each county within each state does kind of their own thing? Do you know that?
Yeah, because I've had friends like in like different foster care systems for different counties. And like a lot of the places are not even doing like AB 12 like outside of California. And so it does.
Can you explain what AB 12 is, Chantal, so that people know what you mean by that?
So AB 12 was passed January 1st, 2013, which is extended foster care for people. Before it used to be like when you're 18, you good luck. I hope that you're doing well in life, and they pretty much put you out on the streets. But now you receive support services until you're 21 with housing, if you're going to college. But in order to be eligible for AB 12, you have to be in school or working 80 hours a week, or have like a doctor's note stating like why you're physically like incapable of doing one of the two. And so that's.
Did you say 80 hours a week?
Yeah.
Working? They have to work 80 hours a week?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know how you do that. Yeah, I'm like, yeah.
Interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Yet another topic, I guess, for me to cover, huh? Oh my goodness.
Right.
Yeah, so it's super frustrating because I have people reach out to me, you know, with problems in different states and different counties, and I really can't help them. I can only direct them to their county's page or their state page, and then for them to go read through it or to contact the ombudsman's office or to find out, because truly there's no real, you know, that's part of the problem. There's nothing streamlined.
Mm-mm.
So gosh, there's so many different things to talk about. But so you definitely went through abuse and went through all of that, and you were moved. One of the things that caught me was 28 schools. 45 homes is insane as it is. It's crazy. But 28 schools. And the part that caught me when we talked was right up until, was it your junior year you were moved? Or was it right during your senior year and you still graduated valedictorian? Rob, can we show those pictures?
It was like, mixture of my junior and my senior year. So it was both years that I moved several times throughout my schooling. But yeah, I moved like 6 times during junior year. I mean, about like 5 or 7 times during my senior year.
So can you guys imagine that? 6 times in just 1 year. 28 schools in her entire school years, 28 different schools. And what amazed me about you, Chantal, is that you graduated valedictorian. Who does that?
I don't know how I did it.
I was in one school.
Man, but I did it though. It was a struggle though.
So one thing that I am so desperate to find out right now, and I know you're really active in the foster care community, and
Mm-hmm.
you see the gamut just like I do. So there's those that overcome, and then there's those that fall victim to, that can't escape feeling, and you guys are victims. I want to make that clear, and I don't want to discount your feelings or the truth, but if you live in that victim mentality, it's going to make it really, really hard for you to overcome and achieve, right?
Um,
Go ahead.
what I was gonna say, like, I don't know, I don't want to like speak like on behalf of like other foster because like certain situations do drive people to do things, and like the average person would not be able to overcome it. But however, I do believe, personally for me, what I believe, like, you can only be the victim for so long. You know, like unfortunately, you can't really choose how your childhood is going to end up, and like if you are the victim for so long, people are only going to feel bad for you for so long. And there comes a time and place then there comes a time and place where someone's gonna be, okay, you're an adult now. You can make a change. You can provide yourself a better life. So that's my intake on it.
Yeah, and I know that Faith Hope Love Ruiz, she says you are a lot of help. Thank you. Sweet, you go, girl, she says.
Thank you.
Jessica Ware, awesome, Chantel.
Thank you.
Very much. Yeah, and I know some of the foster kids have been through stuff that I mean, I know the stories, and they're just I don't even know how they're even walking around coherent, to be honest with you, Chantel. Mm-hmm. But I know that some of them end up really, like yourself, really being able to push through, and others don't. I would like to find out why, so that maybe we could do something different or reach them.
Yeah, definitely. I think the only thing that really, like, I feel that got me to be able to like persevere and get through all the things that I got through was just like being like a realist, and just like knowing, like, before I knew about AB 12, because that wasn't a thing when I was like growing up in foster care. It was like when I turned 18, at the end of the day, I wasn't gonna have mom or pops to fall back on. That was just the realness of it. So if I didn't go to college, I was gonna be homeless. And like I heard so many people in my life saying, "Man, I wish I would have went to school. I wish I would have did this. Like looking back, I would have did this, did that." And so I pretty much like drove me. Like I didn't want to be that person, 25 years old or 30 years old saying, "Man, I should have just stuck it out and held through." And so pretty much I made education my number one goal. No matter what, I promised myself, no matter how bad it got, I would never lose sight of what I want to be in life, and like how much I want to like persevere. And so pretty much like knowing that if I didn't graduate and go to college, I was going to be homeless, I did what I had to do. And so I honestly believe it's different for each foster youth. Some people may find that one thing that drives them, if they're able to like really instill it inside them and like, focus on that no matter what. I feel like more people can make it. But then at the end of the day, I also do believe it's not fair to necessarily put all the responsibility on the youth for them to like, what can you do to make it? No, it's like, what can the system change to ensure that more youth can make it out of the foster care system?
That's it right there. What can the system?
Thank you.
Yeah, you're getting so Roger Finch says, "Yep, I could tell from the start. She's brilliant. Love her." He's an amazing guy. He's Roger is he just comes alongside everybody, and he's just a big love, and he has a passion for foster care and the kids, and he's a great mentor for you, Chantel. If you ever get a chance to connect with him, he would
oh, I definitely will.
He's an amazing guy. So I couldn't agree with you more about, the system does need to change to help change these kids. And it's frustrating because, and this is why I have everybody that's tuning in right now. And, if you guys have suggestions and ideas, send them here. We should all be talking about this. And Chantel, I mean, I don't even know if you have ideas, things that you think could help. I mean, I think we'd all love to hear from your vantage point.
Mm-hmm.
What that would look like to you. And I do have some questions I want to ask, but what are some changes that you think should be made that could really change the system drastically and change the outcome for these children?
Definitely. I guess I'll focus on education and move forward. So within like the educational system, I feel like there needs to be like a point of contact for each foster youth. And so currently through AB 490, foster, there's a point of contact within each school district. But essentially, obviously, that's not enough. I feel like each school that has a foster youth who's attending the school needs to have a point of contact person located on campus. So if the foster youth has concerns, and to help them emotionally, also to help them like with like schoolwork and just transitioning and just like checking like, hey, are you okay? Like, you know, how's like the new transition going? Like showing like true investment, because of what happens within the educational system. Social workers, they just care about the logistics. They just care to make sure they're enrolled and they have the necessary paperwork. And like that's good on your end for the paperwork and for the courts, but that doesn't provide any benefits to the foster youth. And also just providing like more tutoring service and stuff like that. Because, you know, when you move from school to school to school, you're bound to fall behind in some of your work. You're bound to fall behind, and teachers are not necessarily going to take the time just to help, you know, me as a student, like more than the other 20 students who are in the class. So providing like foster like tutors, and I think mentorship from a very like young age is essential to have like that one stable adult in your life that follows you through various foster homes. You know, like, even though like I may feel like I'm not lovable, I'm not worthy, this mentor person has stuck with me through all of it. So that shows me that, hey, maybe I am worthy, maybe I am lovable, maybe I do matter. And so that's one thing. And also, I feel like more in-depth training for foster parents. Some of these foster parents absolutely should not be foster parents.
I agree, 100,000 trillion billion %.
Like some of these people should not be foster parents. And there needs to be like more screening. There needs to be like more in-home visits. And I'm talking about unannounced home visits. Because of course, if you announce that you're coming on Tuesday at 3:30, everything's going to be fine and dandy. The pantry's going to be fully stocked. They're going to be on their best behavior. Like, no, I want you to show up unannounced to see how it actually is within the home on a daily basis. Also, I feel like there needs to be like more funding for like activities like during the summer. You know, like most people, like when you're younger, people go camping, they go this, and like I'm really feeling alienated for being in the foster care system. And so now I'm really feeling alienated from having to be at home in my room doing nothing while everybody's outside doing summer, doing this. And I think definitely different like insurances, because Medi-Cal is so limiting. It's
dear God, Medi-Cal. Medi-Cal.
It's so limiting, and that's like the least for California foster, which I'm aware of. That's the insurance that they get. You have a problem getting like your medicine. You have a problem getting decent like dental care. You have a problem getting like good psychiatry care.
Chantal, the dental care. Oh my gosh, I had to jump in there. The dental care. So Ashley, I'm just going to say your name because I know you're already okay with this. So Ashley's my sweetheart, and she was in foster care. Her teeth are killing her. They're covered in fillings, and she would go in, they would just like fill all of her teeth. And when she'd go in, the insurance wouldn't pay for the numbing, medicine, like certain amount. I don't know if you experienced this, Chantal, if you did, but like she'd have to have a painful dental procedure because Medi-Cal wouldn't approve enough injections or whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And yeah. Oh my gosh. Another show. You're giving me all these shows.
Right.
Talk about.
Like really, like it's terrible. Like it's just terrible how inhumane they treat foster youth. And like, I mean, I can go on and on, but that's like the base, like, snippet, like things that I feel definitely need to have like more attention and more like light shined on, because at the rate that we're going, so many people are going to enter the foster care system. And it's not, I feel like instead of trying to get more youth to enter the foster care system, we need to fix the system.
And that's exactly why we're sitting here tonight. And that's my dream. And I have thousands and thousands of people that want to make that happen. And we're just, right now, I guess we're unveiling it. And we all have to come together with ideas and see how we can work together and really start creating that change and pushing toward that change. Chantal, what was the adoption process like for you? Or do you feel, better way to put it, do you feel that they were really trying to find you an adoptive home?
They tried, but just to be honest, the older you are and the darker skin complexion you are, the less likely you are going to be adopted. There's stats on that. So, they want, like, to be honest, they want like the white, blonde hair, blue eyes baby who are young, and I don't fit that criteria. And so the older I got, the less likely that I was going to get adopted. So they tried, but.
And it's true. We just had, and this is the truth. This is another topic. And then Rob, I know you have some questions that have been asked. So guys, give me just 1 minute. Rob's going to come on. My producer is going to read. But I've been reached out about helping this SIB group of 5 get adopted, and they were these darling white kids, 5 of them, cutest names, cutest kids ever, right? There had been another group of, I think it was 4 siblings, and they were dark skinned. They were, Black kids, darling, but you're right, it didn't get even near the shares that the white kids got. And that's just a reality, right? I mean, it's sad, but it's the truth.
Yes.
And if you go on to some of the websites that have the kids, there's a lot of, it's less white children than other races, Hispanic being the next one, wouldn't you say, Chantel?
Yes.
So yeah, that's a sad reality. But I'm going to let Rob read these, and then I have a couple other questions for you, and then we're going to let you take over so you can say whatever's on your heart before we go. Okay, Chantel? But what were the questions, Rob, or comments?
There were comments. So Faith Hope Love Ruiz says, I personally think it's important to teach these children to be leaders and that they can succeed their dreams. Chantel, I'm so proud of you. Matthew Doughty says, start preparing the youth early with life skills, cooking, laundry, bill paying, and having responsibility, breaking the cycle of abuse, giving the kids an avenue to release feelings and energy in a safe, loving environment. And then Faith followed up and said, shame on the doctors. Melanie Harris says, yep, so true. Another comment from Faith was, don't become a doctor if you can't treat children humane. And the final comment was Mark Clark said, have a client that has suffered from Medi-Cal. She is turning 26 this May. Then what?
Yeah, exactly. Then what? And another show I will be doing, and we're going to go back to Chantel, is there are thousands of medically fragile children, kids dying, kids with cancer, kids with rare diseases in the system that aren't getting the kind of treatment they should have. So we'll talk about that another day. So I'm glad actually, Chantel, that you did bring that up because people don't know this, right? So Chantel, in looking at that, and they were trying to find you an adoptive home, and it clearly never happened, and you aged out, and you're in college right now at Mills in Oakland in your sophomore year. What does that look like, not having a mom, a dad, a grandma, a grandpa, a home to go to in the holiday? I know when you and I met, it was around Christmas time. And everybody's leaving and they're going to their various places. And for that matter, when you graduated or you have big events and you have something really exciting happen, what does that leave you feeling like? What's missing?
To be frank, I think it will be harder for me to to experience this if I was older entering the foster care system. So let's say if I was 13 and I was accustomed to having family there, and I lost that, it would be hard. But the fact that I never had that, it doesn't really sink in, and so it doesn't bother me as much. But at times I do think what if I have this home? What if I have this family? But at the end of the day, those thoughts are not going to give me home. They're not going to give me family. It's only going to cause more pain and suffering. And so I kind of push those things out of my head, to be honest. And fortunately enough, I won a scholarship, a $90,000 scholarship that tries to help set you up with internships during the summer. Or if you absolutely have nowhere to stay, you can stay at the internship house in Chino. But then I was fortunate enough to meet Marjorie at one of my group homes when I was 11 years old. She was my teacher. So I went to a non-public school, so it was in the group home. So she was my teacher, and she has gracefully opened up her home to me. So during holidays or stuff like that, I'm able to have a room in her house and stuff like that. She treats me as family essentially, and so I'm grateful for that.
Well, I'm glad that you have good, we were talking before the show and you had said that you have, good mentors in your life. But I know that, in a perfect world, it would have been nice to have a mom and a dad. And I just want to encourage people. I think the one misconception people have is that older kids are difficult or bad or scary. And I look at you and I think, my goodness, what a gem to have you in my home. What would you say to people with that misconception, Chantal? And more so, what could people do that have an older child or a child that's hurting like yourself in the home? What could they have done now in hindsight and looking at it? What do you think could have been said or done, or what do you think you were looking for that would have helped?
Yeah, I don't think nothing could have been said, to be honest, with words. They mean nothing, you know what I mean? If your words do not follow through with action, you're wasting your time. But done, I definitely think just literally all you have to do is take the time and day. Really sit there. If you're going to be a foster parent, really sit there and invest your time, your resources to the child that you decided to foster. Like, I didn't call my social worker and say, "Hey, can I go live with Susie on 45th Street?" Like, no, they asked you, and you said yes. So I just really think like taking the time to understand their needs, treating them as if like as they were your kid. Because I remember like in foster homes when they had biological kids, and foster kids as well, there was like a distinct difference in how you were treated, and I was made to feel. It was known that I was a foster. It was made to feel like, like I'm not part of this family. I'm kind of like an outsider, just kind of residing here for the time being. And so being like emotionally present and emotionally supporting it's key and it's crucial. And just like letting youth are not bad. We're all gonna like be older. We're gonna like PMS. We're gonna like have, everybody's hormones are like fluctuating and it's going or whatever. And just like understand that like no one's perfect. And by you like pushing us away and sending us to like various homes or like and stuff like that, it's only going to make the situation worse.
And I did actually a little quote that I
Thank you, Darla. Thank you.
Yeah, Darla, that's sweet. Darla says, "Thank you, Chantal, for sharing your story. You are brave. You are awesome. Love and hugs to you." I had put a post up because I got so frustrated one day. A foster mom had made a comment in this one group about how she's getting rid of one of her, the teenage kids because they were just being brats or whatever. And I was like, these kids can't freaking win. They want them to live up to a standard absolutely no one could live up to. And my own birth kids, are horrible, and they're still living in my house. And they, we have teenage girls that we're all on the same, time and whatnot. And they're not so fun to be around. And we got hormones going on, and I wouldn't kick them out. They're still there. And you cannot take these kids and hold them up to a standard that's so unattainable. They're human beings, and they're not only are they going through hormones and being teenagers, but they've been through freaking hell, and they're trying to deal with what they've seen, what they've been through, and how they've been bounced around at the same time as trying to, come into themselves. Cut them some slack, give them some love, give them some room, sit with them, care for them. Don't hold them up to a standard that nobody can live up to. Sorry, that's just how I'm feeling. It just frustrates me so bad. Sorry, I'm rolling on and on. Chantal, we're running out of time. I want to make sure you were able to say absolutely everything that was on your heart. If you want people to reach out to you, I have asked Chantal to come join us, and she's happy to be blogging and joining us over in the new website when it gets released. But go for it, babe. This is your time.
Perfect. I guess like closing thoughts. If you're ever considering being a foster parent or not, if you know somebody considering being a foster parent, I would advise you, and I would really appreciate if you can just like really have like a heart-to-heart conversation with them. Like it's not a hobby. It's not something that you do and you kind of like get rid of them when they're done. Like, we have feelings. We've already been through a lot. And all we expect or want from foster parents is to feel like we're part of the family, to feel loved. And also like the stats within like the foster care system, it's daunting and it's sad, but also we just need like more mentors. If anybody wants to be a mentor, I know an agency who's looking for people to mentor current foster youth as well. So that's pretty much about it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of, go ahead, Rob, did you have something you wanted to say? Okay. There's a lot of different ways that you can help foster children. I know, what do you feel about CASAs? Did you ever have a CASA?
Oh yeah, I've had a CASA, and I'm in the process of becoming a CASA as well.
Awesome. So CASAs, if you're not ready to foster, CASA is a very important part of the foster care system. They go and mentor the kids. They show up once or twice a week, right, Chantal, and really invest their time in that child, and they advocate for them, and the child builds a relationship and feels safe with them. They can go to court. They have more power actually to speak than a foster parent.
Mm-hmm.
The judges will hear them a lot of times. So yeah, you could be a CASA, absolutely, for sure. I love your idea of having mentors and tutors inside the school, Chantal.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot like, for the disabled children, they
Mm-hmm.
have mentors that, assistants that go with them class to class.
Right.
That this seems very similar what you were talking about. And I think that's brilliant. I think that could change so many children's lives.
Exactly.
But yeah, there's a lot of different ways you can participate and help the foster youth, and feel free to reach out to us. And I'm getting that new website up and going. It's taking a little bit of time, but there'll be tons of different ways for you guys to participate and actively be making a difference in these kids' lives. Chantal, so incredibly blessed. I was blessed the first time we talked. Now I'm just even more blessed. I just love you to death. Thank you so much for coming on here today, sharing your story.
Mm-hmm.
I really look forward to working with you and having you be a part of Project Foster Care and educating us and helping us speak out and give you a voice. Gosh, anytime you want to come back, I'm here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chantal, and good luck. She has finals, so she's studying.
I definitely do.
You have no idea what a tight schedule she's on right now. So thank you so much, Chantal, for joining us tonight.
No problem.
Have a great night. Go study.
Yes, I'm about to.
Thank you. Bye, Chantal.
Bye.
Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. What a blessing it was, again, to hear Chantal's story. I hope it gave you a deeper insight to what it's like to live in the foster care system, grow up in the foster care system, and Chantal had so many great ideas swarming around and in her heart of ways that we can make changes and make a big difference. So if you guys have ideas, send them to me. We should all be talking about this. Let's get talking about it. Let's start coming up with ideas. So I want to ask all of you, please, if you haven't, share the page. Foster, we are not going to grow without you. So if you guys could all join me and just share this video, invite people. If you don't know how to do it, you can private message me and I will show you exactly how to invite friends. So really excited to see it growing the way that it is. I have big news next week, so I will share that. So make sure you tune in next week when we talk all about adoption. Why aren't the children getting adopted? What are the birth family's rights? There's so much to talk about. So make sure you join us next Thursday. But until then, you guys keep on being foster care warriors and have a hope-filled week. Bye-bye.